Everyone, it's Derek here with another video, and today is Earth Day in 2024. So what I want to share with you are 9 things that you can do to be more eco-friendly or to help our Mother Earth, let's say. So first things first is use less water. So what do I mean by that? You can take shorter showers. A lot of people end up taking quite long showers and use a lot of water. A bit wasteful, and sometimes you don't actually need it. So take shorter showers. I take maybe 5-minute showers, obviously. Hair, not that much. So obviously, do with what you will. Also, take less showers. You can possibly take less showers if you don't sweat throughout the day. Obviously, want to manage your hygiene well, but you can take less showers. Also, you can use the faucet less. So if you're brushing your teeth, for example, you can turn off the water if you're not actually rinsing your mouth out or rinsing the toothpaste that you spit out. Also, you can use the dishwasher instead of hand washing dishes. That's something that also ends up being quite wasteful, is if you don't use the dishwasher. Now, what happens if you have a very, very small load, then you can also use different settings, like shorter settings or smaller, like just the top rack, different things like that. Most dishwashers have these types of settings. Number 2, eat less meat. So a lot of people try to implement some sort of a meatless Monday. If you eat less meat, that ends up being more helpful in terms of carbon emissions, in terms of cows or chickens or what have you, different things that produce a lot of methane and CO2. I'd say that's probably one of the things that is pretty helpful in terms of a personal choice. You can have a meatless Monday. My wife and I are mostly vegetarian. That's probably one of the biggest contributors that you can make personally, is eating less meat. Buy more eco-friendly products. So we definitely need to support people who are making those big changes in terms of being net zero. For example, I have a product here that is ethic. They actually have biodegradable tape, and this is for shampoo. You can buy any of these that don't use any plastic, and if this goes out in the trash or anything like that, it'll degrade much faster than the plastics that people are using. They can also use recycled materials, different things like that. So that's something that you can also utilize to be more eco-conscious. Reusable bags, use them instead of using the plastic or the paper bags that you get in grocery stores. I'm sure the grocery store would love you to not use any of their plastic bags. There's some companies that actually charge you for plastic bags and paper bags. So just use something that you're going to utilize all the time. You can do this in the produce section in terms of like fruits and vegetables. You can use, you can put them in your backpack. Heck, like anything like that. Something that you can reuse all the time and then don't have to use their plastic bags or their paper bags. Purchase a bidet. It takes quite a bit of resources to make toilet paper, and you can actually use a lot less toilet paper by using a bidet and use water to clean your bum. So this is something that is becoming more popular in the US, and you can find anything that ranges from like $10, $15 to upwards of toilets that cost thousands of dollars. So obviously it depends on what your particular preference is. There are some very high technology ones which can warm up the water and heated seats and what have you. So we don't have one of those. We have one that is specifically a manual one that's really, really cheap. And yeah, it works really well, and only one wipe. You only have to use the toilet paper to dry your bum instead of actually trying to wipe it or clean it. Ends up saving water, maybe not for you particularly, but for the entire world in terms of using less toilet paper. Next one is switch your appliance to use something that is electric. You can use a cooktop or a range, a stove, what have you, and you can turn that into an induction stove, an electric oven. That will save quite a bit in terms of using natural gas and CO2 emissions. Now the grid is eventually is constantly turning more green and using more things like hydro, solar, winds, and what have you. So that'll effectively be very helpful in the long term. Maybe not initially, especially if you're in states like West Virginia, which use still a pretty decent amount of coal, but most states, especially in the US, are not utilizing coal as their majority production of electricity. Other things like water heaters, you can use a heat pump water heater that is really good and efficient, and it will save you money, and there are also incentives for some of these products as well. Also, a heat pump for your AC and heat. That's also something that is really useful, and if you're purchasing a new AC unit or furnace, it just makes sense to ask to see what the estimate is. Number 7 is commuting. You can commute by train, or you can use a bike or an e-bike. Nowadays, e-bikes are very prevalent and see a lot of kids using it, so this is inherently pretty good in that a person isn't actually driving them. So they're using electricity, and in the short term it may be more costly in that they obviously have batteries, and depending on what that battery is made out of, it may be more environmentally unfriendly to have one of those. But in the long term, for the life of the bike, it should be effectively better and also cleaner for the air if you're not driving from point A to point B in a car that is emitting CO2. So that's another thing that you can use, and also train with mass transit. That'll obviously save a lot of CO2 instead of driving your car. 8, switch to an EV. With current things in 2024, EVs are becoming more and more cheap, and you can buy anything that ranges from like $5,000 to, you know, upwards of 100, 200, so on and so forth. So the range is pretty massive here, but with even used Teslas, great deals like $25,000 for one with like 20,000 miles. Like that's amazing for a car that used to be like $45,000 or $60,000. Now you may be somebody who is down with Tesla or somebody who doesn't like Tesla. There are also other options: Nissan Leaf, Ford with their Mach-E, and other items like VW has, or Volkswagen has their ID.4. All companies are coming out with new products for electronic vehicles, which are great options. Now, it may not fit your lifestyle, so that's why this is further down the line at number 8. But in general, this is something that you can do and something that's fairly easy to change in terms of if you're buying a new car, you can start looking at EVs as well. Another one, number 9, final one, is use the sun. Solar panels are starting to get more and more cheap, and there's a huge incentive, 30% in the US, specifically federally, and there's also state incentives as well. Sort of no-brainer to do if you're in that market as well. So there's also some portable solar panels that you can utilize if you're living in a condo or something like that, and you can hook up to your system as well and just put them on the balcony or something like that, and hooking up to your fuse box and using solar that way too. So that's 9 things that can help you be more eco-friendly on this day, Earth Day. Let me know in the comments what you think or your suggestions. Try to make this world a better place, and we have a short time to do this, so let's try our best to help out if we can. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.